releasing all stress. Just feel the love surround you, permeate you. You can come to this place anytime. And now it's time to stand up and walk that beautiful path back. We'll leave this place for another day. As we return to this room, we remember that we are love, and so it is.
Thank you, Nelta. Beautiful as always. Perfect way to start our service. Welcome. We have guests today, and we are delighted to have you. And they have come to us from, is it SLCA down in Atlanta. Thank you both so much. And I discovered that they have a Frank Lloyd Wright lookalike house. It was exciting to talk to Elton about it. We're delighted to have you. And they're here supporting Diana Johnson today, our speaker today. I want to tell you about Diana. Diana and I have had several conversations during the week. And I have to tell you, I've wept a lot listening to Diana and talking with her. Diana has a beautiful, beautiful message for you today on faith and on healing. And she is a living example of what we teach, and she lives it. We talk about walk your talk. She walks her talk. It's beautiful. So I want to give you a little bio about her. Diana became a practitioner of religious science in 2018, where she's active at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, an SLCA, and Reverend David Alexander is the spiritual director. As a young girl, Diana had compassion, love, and a tender heart for sick people, visiting them in hospitals and their homes. She began to volunteer as a candy striper at the local hospital and started reading Guidepost magazine, published by Norman Vincent Peale at the age of 13. I had no idea there was anyone named Norman Vincent Peale when I was 13, because of her burning desire to know more about the love of God for mankind. In 2005, she discovered the book Celebrate Yourself by Eric Butterworth. That fueled her to take a deeper dive into this thing called God, leading her to reading the Science of Mind text every day, realizing she was called to be a practitioner and accepting the call to help others improve their life experiences and conditions. To know that healing is a revealing of the truth. God is all there is. While in training to become a practitioner, Diana started a nonprofit for homeless veterans called My Opulent Place, providing resources for veterans to achieve safe transitional housing, assisting with participants with health and wellness community services to pursue economic self-sufficiency. Diana is a level 2 Reiki practitioner. She's filled with the spirit of divine compassion. She has a deep underlying sense of unity, empathy, and sympathy. Diana will speak on the faith of God today, a journey from wellness to a serious illness that led into a deep, abiding faith that created the truth of a body and mind now whole, healed, and healthy. Please welcome Diana Johnson.
Thank you. And thank all of you for having me here. Excuse me. This morning, when I was in a meditation doing my spiritual work, which I do every day, I ran across a treatment I had written years ago, didn't know why. Well, I know that Spirit led me to read it, and as I was to write it, and as I was reading it this morning, I said, how am I going to remember all of this for treatment? Because it represents who I am, who you are, and who this organization, this movement is, Centers for Spiritual Living. So, excuse me, what I'd like for you to do with me at this time is let's just take a deep cleansing breath and just breathe in, knowing that every breath is the breath of God, the breath of life. And as we release, let's just release everything that's not for us right now, knowing that God is all there is. And as I can remember this and refer to this, this is what I know. That there is a life that is God and is good. It's infinite love, joy, peace, and harmony. Just infinite intelligence, understanding that knows everything, is the cause of everything, and is a presence everywhere, always. Therefore, this one life that I call God is right here, right where we are, right here, right now. It resides within us. God and I are inseparable. I'm an individual expression of the God, the consciousness of God. God's mind is my mind. This is who I am, a spiritual being. And it is from this place, right here, right now, that my words are the presence, the power, and the activity of truth. Infinite intelligence tells me what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and what to say. I am the spirit of understanding, always mindful of others because I'm one with spirit, one with the mind of God. And with a grateful heart and love, I'm thankful for knowing this truth. I am thankful that I could stand here today, understanding that as I declare my words with confidence and the power of God's love in action, I know it's all good, and I'm grateful. And with these words that I've just spoken, I now would like to release them into the law of mind, knowing that everything is complete, perfect, that everyone that sits under the sound of my voice, complete, perfect, and the law responds to everything that I've said. I let it be, it is so, and so it is.
And so it is. I'm back. She's hard to follow. That was beautiful. And if it's comfortable for everyone, would you please stand and let's read together our vision and mission statement along with the Declaration of Principles. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. I believe there is one creative intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe my purpose is to allow this divine mind to express in, as, and through me. I know that this divine presence is a power for good, which responds to my conscious use to create a life filled with health, love, peace, and success in all things. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is.
All right.
All right. Take it away,
Please.
Cynthia.
Remain standing and sing with us. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles moving away. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now. The rain is gone, and all of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but clear skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles moving away. Here's a rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I hope Mildred heard that. This is Ken's aunt's favorite song. It is.
Here in
It is.
Georgia,
It really
in
is.
Douglasville. I moved from Texas. I have to keep remembering I'm in Georgia. This morning, our reading is from our Science of Mind. And Diana and I have talked back and forth several times, and I've been looking and looking for things that would tie in to her beautiful talk with us today. And who better than Ernest Holmes? Why did I hunt elsewhere, right? So here we are. This is called Vitalizing Faith. In order to have faith, we must have a conviction that all is well. In order to keep faith, we must allow nothing to enter our thoughts which will weaken this conviction. Faith is built up from belief, acceptance, and trust. Whenever anything enters our thought which destroys in any degree any one of these attitudes, to that extent, faith is weakened. Our mind must be steady in its conviction that our life is some part of God and that the Spirit is incarnated in us. Affirmations and denials are for the purpose of vitalizing faith, for the purpose of converting through to a belief in things spiritual. The foundation for correct mental treatment is perfect God, perfect man, and perfect being. Though must be organized to fit this premise, and conclusions must be built on this premise. We must keep our faith vital if we hope to successfully treat for ourselves or for others. All sciences are built upon faith principles. All principles are invisible, and all laws accepted on faith. No man has seen God at any time, nor has he seen goodness, truth, or beauty. But who can doubt their existence? Not only must we have complete faith in Spirit and its ability to know and to do, but we must have complete confidence in our approach to it. We must not be lukewarm in our conviction. We must know that we know. We are to demonstrate that principal thought force has power over all apparent material resistance, and this cannot be done unless we have abounding confidence in the principle which we approach. Pure faith is a spiritual conviction. It is the acquiescence of the mind, the embodiment of an idea, the acceptance of a concept. If we believe that the Spirit incarnated in us can demonstrate, shall we be disturbed at what appears to contradict this? We shall often need to know that the truth which we announce is superior to the condition we are to change. In other words, if we are speaking from the standpoint of the Spirit, then there can be no opposition to it. It is only we let go of all human will and recognize the pure essence of the spiritual principle incarnated in us that thought rises above a belief in duality. We should constantly vitalize our faith by the knowledge that the eternal is incarnated in us, that God himself goes forth anew to creation through each one of us, and that in such degree as we speak the truth, the Almighty has spoken.
Thank you, Sandy. I heard this song this week, and it really spoke to my inner child. And we all know that we all have an inner child. So this song is a lullaby for your inner child. While there's so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side, rainbows are visions and only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection for lovers and dreamers and me. Who said that every wish will be heard and answered when placed on the morning star? Somebody thought of it and someone believed it, and look where it's gone keeps us stargazing, and what do we hope we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection for lovers and dreamers and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? Well, I have. They're calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls to young sailors? That voice might be one and the same. I have heard it too many times to ignore it. I'm something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection for lovers and dreamers and me. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls to the sailors? What could be one and the same? I have heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection for lovers and dreamers and me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Now I can thank Sandy. And I'd like to acknowledge Alton and Essie from SLCA here supporting me, and also Dorothea. I met Dorothea, gosh, I know it's been about 7 or 8 years ago in one of Joyce Reynolds' classes, and she had been following me on Facebook. So I feel comfortable here, and thank all of you again for having me. Yes, and my talk, I'm gonna try not to cry. I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. When I got out of the hospital, I used to cry all day, every day. And that was my song because I got clarity on some stuff. So that's one of my favorite songs. Thanks again, Cynthia. So my talk today is on the faith of God, not the faith in God, but of God. And to have the faith of God, you got to know the characteristics of God. And I normally use the word presence, spirit, essence, And I might switch it up, but the faith of God, you got to know the characteristics, the qualities, the elements, the cause, and the motive of everything. And the faith in God is with limits, but the faith of God, there are no limits. And this takes me to March 2008, 2021. I was diagnosed with a condition called chronic internal hernia, where they were supposed to just go in, clear up some scar tissue on a Monday, stay overnight, come home Wednesday. Those 3 days turned into right at about 6 months consecutively in the hospital, 6 months. Excuse me. I came home for about 3-4 weeks and my body just started shutting down, and Essie can attest to that because my feet started swelling. I'm laying in bed watching my feet and talking with her. She said, get to the hospital. But before all this happened, I've been going back and forth to the hospital because I was dehydrated. I knew I was dehydrated all from this surgery, plus going to the doctor every 2-3 weeks. She's just checking me. They did the surgery, sent me home, said I was okay. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink water, I couldn't do anything. And it got to the point I couldn't even take care of myself, like bathing, going to the bathroom, any of that. My sister had to come over and take care of me. Well, fast forward, and I can say this and laugh now because I understand the faith of God. They thought I was dying. They really did. When they got me to the doctor, I couldn't walk. It took 4 people to get me in the car, then a wheelchair. I've been in this practice, this medical practice, for 30 years. When I got to my doctor, he did some examinations and told them to get me to the nearest emergency room, which was, I won't call the hospital, which was really right down the street from his office. When I got there, they were waiting on me. And when I got there, they did my vitals and all of that, had a room for me. I didn't know at the time I was taken to the critical care department, which I think is a step below intensive care. 2 months there. Still losing consciousness to a certain degree. I couldn't think of anything. I've been reading in the science of mind since 2008. I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't talk. But mentally, I started saying, wherever God is, I am. Wherever God is, there's nothing but wholeness, healing, just whatever could come to mind. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't say it. 2 months, they took me to rehab. I don't know how long I was there. And I think Essie came to see me or called or talked. I just don't remember a lot of it because I'm losing it. Then they came in one day and said, we've made arrangements to send you to a nursing home. Yeah, a nursing home, because I wasn't responding to anything 2 months. Something within me said, no, you're not. That's not what I said. I use another word, but I said, no, you're not. Send me home or send me to Grady. And they were like, Ms. Johnson, if you're not responding to treatment here, what makes you think you're going to respond at Grady? Who's going to take care of you at home? I said, well, I can get someone to come in. This person, and I think she was a coordinator, I don't remember. She left, and then a doctor came in, same thing. I said, I'm in my right mind. I have to advocate for myself. Send me to Grady. Before this, I worked 34 years. I had this mentality, if anything happened to me, do not take me to Grady. Seriously. But now, if anything happened to me, get me there with the quickness. 2 days later, 2 people came in with a gurney. I'm still not responding. And I looked up, I said, where are you taking me? And they said, we have orders to take you to Grady. This was about 4 or 5 o'clock. I remember the clock on the wall. They got me to Grady. I'd never been a patient at Grady. I used to volunteer at Grady with their hospice program. I used to go down and volunteer with babies that have been left. Women have babies and they will leave them there, and I would work with them, nurture the babies until they went into a foster home or whatever, but never a patient. When I got to Grady, they started working on me. And about 3-4 weeks, I ended up in the infectious disease department. They had to do a procedure on me. I was sedated. And I remember looking on the side of my bed because I wasn't completely out of it. I was sedated. And I saw these 2 things of blood. And I asked the doctor, where did this come from? He said, from you. I said, me? Why? He said, and then he wanted to know if I'd been injured, if I'd fallen on anything. My body was collecting blood on the inside. And they had to drain this blood, put 2 drain tubes on me. I had a abscess, 2 abscesses. I had 4 blood transfusions. During this time, I'm still saying, wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. There's nothing but wholeness. Whatever will come to me, because I'm still foggy. They would draw my blood every 2 hours and then every 4 hours. A nephrologist came in, told me they would prepare me for dialysis. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. I'm saying this. And then it just came to me, God is in dialysis. A few days after that, my heart was acting up. They wanted to put I forget what it was they wanted to do with my heart. I didn't argue with them. I just kept thinking, wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. There's nothing but wholeness, healness. And at the time, I didn't know it was the faith of God, because I had been reading the Science of Mind since 2008. But all this stuff that I was reading every day when I would travel, I would take my Science of Mind book, or I would make copies of what I had to read and take it with me. I read it every single day, but I couldn't recall a lot of stuff, but I knew how to say, wherever God is, I am. There's nothing but wholeness, healing, health. That's what I'm not saying, thinking. All this stuff that these medical clinicians were coming in saying to me, I didn't argue. I just accepted what they said because I knew that God was with me. I knew this. Never did the thought come to me that I was leaving this side of the universe, not one time, because I kept my mind on that. I didn't have to do dialysis. She came in like 2 days later. I don't know what's going on, but your kidneys are functioning fine. I said, thank you. Same with my heart. Then my liver started acting up. They put me on some thick medicine. It was IV. And because I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking, I was literally wasting away. And the doctor told me that we can only keep you on this medicine 6 weeks because it'll shut your body down. Thick, white, chalky medicine. And it took, I think, 8 hours for it to go into my system. And after I would use a bag of it, they would wait 4 hours, do my labs, come back and do another one. I remember I had about 5 bags of it. And I still couldn't eat, couldn't drink water, couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. Bed sores. It was an experience, the faith of God. And I never complained. I never thought that I was going to leave here. It never entered my consciousness. Never. I didn't understand it all then, but it never entered my consciousness. It never did. Shannon and Jean Bell couldn't find me for a while, and they called every hospital because my sister had my cell phone. People were calling. I didn't know. During that time, my house foreclosed. Just everything happened. But the faith of God was my mantra, not knowing that it was the faith of God. It was just wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. I had a car note, car insurance, cell phone. Those 3 things stayed intact. 6 months. When I got to the point where I started making a little progress, I started having, I thought they were dreams or visions or whatever, but 2 close friends of mine I saw had passed on. And it didn't frighten me, but it was so clear, and I was trying to think if it was a dream somebody told me or what. Nobody was coming to the hospital to see me other than a few people from SLCA, my sister and one brother once a month if they came that often. But anyway, this experience just kept me thinking, wherever God is, I am. I didn't complain. I think all my health care providers, every time they would come in the room, good news. I never saw it as bad news when they were telling me things. I just said, okay, thank you, and kept saying, wherever God is, kept thinking, not saying, wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is there. There's nothing but wholeness, healing, health. Then I ended up one night or one day, because I couldn't distinguish between day and night sometimes. I would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning saying, why haven't they brought my bra? Because that was all I could take after a while. They're like, Miss Johnson, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Just totally confused. And then one day, I had this dream, day or night, that I could go to the bathroom. At Grady, they had these monitors on these beds. If you couldn't walk, if your feet got off the bed, over on the side of the bed, the monitors would go off because of liability. They didn't want anybody to fall or hurt themselves. So one leg, I thought I could get up and go to the bathroom. And they came running in there. And they said, Miss Johnson, you can't do this. You can't do this. I think maybe 2-3 days later, I called the nurse and I said, I think I can walk. I want somebody to help me go to the restroom. That began my healing process. Then it came to me as I started having these glimpses of what I could do. There was a time I couldn't even turn over in the bed. I couldn't do anything but just lay there. And that's why my rear end is like it is, because for 5 months, that's what I did. I laid there. I was able to start reaching over, kind of pulling myself a little, because I was having these visions. I know that's what they were, visions, because I'm thinking, wholeness, healness. I gotta do better. This too shall, pass. The thing that really surprised all of my medical team is I started asking to sit up in my bed or sit up in the chair. They would come get me, put me in a chair, and I would sit there in a recliner for like four hours. Just sitting there, thinking. I didn't have anything to read. The TV stayed on 24/7. I never got discouraged because I couldn't remember any type of prayer. I couldn't remember none of that other than wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. There's nothing but wholeness. And whenever they came in with a report, I'm like, okay, God is in this also. The one thing that really helped me also was the fact that I kept saying, when I get out of here, I know there's a power that's available to me. I know that there's a power that's available to me. On February 23rd, I'll remember that day like I remember my birthday of last year. They came in and told me I was going home. They were concerned. By this time, I'm walking with a walker. I could only take 2-3 steps at a time because laying in bed for that long, them doing blood transfusions, I got blood clots. One of the blood clots had escaped and got to my lungs, and that's why I had shortness of breath. I could only take like 2 or 3 steps. They told me I was going to be released on the 23rd of February. I said, okay. And I'm waiting on, I have 3 siblings here in the city of Atlanta. And they knew because by this time I got my phone to tell them, I was going home on the 23rd. I'm waiting on one of them to call, say, we'll come get you, we'll take you home with me. Never happened. So when they released me, I was badgering the nurse, when are you gonna bring me my papers to sign? Because I know you had to sign some papers to get out of the hospital. We're working on it, Ms. Johnson, we'll get it to you. During that time, a doctor came in my room. He was the chief medical doctor of infectious disease. And I never thought anything negative. I just don't. This teaching has taught me it's nothing negative. It's just an experience. Most people, if a doctor walk in your room on the day that you're going home, first thing they'll think, what's wrong? Didn't even think that. He walked in, introduced himself, and I'll see him next week. He said, I'm Dr. So-and-so, chief physician of infectious disease. He said, I wanted to meet you in person because when I got the information that you were being released, I wanted to come meet you. He said, every time I saw you, you were sedated going into a procedure or sedated coming out of a procedure. He said, I wanted to come meet you in person. I said, oh, okay. And then when I looked around on the side of him, I saw all these other white coats. I said, well, who are they? He signaled them to come in the room. It was 5 doctors, and they were residents. They had just completed their residence, and he introduced them. They came over, shook my hand. and said, they had heard so much about me. I recognized one because he used to come in to check on me, and he told me that he wanted these 5 doctors to see what a miracle looked like. And he told me, he asked me some questions. And I said, did I answer these questions? He said, you did. He said, that's how we knew that you were okay. He said, and you have proven that to these doctors that science and he either said religion or Christianity or something go hand in hand. And he said, I wanted them to see a miracle. And I looked at him out of nowhere, I thought, and I said, it's just God being God. That's what a miracle is, just God being God. That's what God do. But it was all because of, I kept my mind on wherever God is, I am. I left that hospital that day. I had probably over $10,000 in my checking account. Nowhere to go. Not one time did I think I was homeless, but I was. I can say it now. I can say it now. I called my brother and told him to leave my keys in my car because my car was at his house. I took Uber to his house, got in my car with a walker, and drove around. The Spirit said, go to a hotel. From February 23rd until May, that's where I stayed, at hotels. And then when the money started drying up, and you gotta also know, when you're a big giver, loving people, helping people, you never see yourself as somebody in need. I never did. I never considered myself in need. I don't care what. If I had to go and work an extra job, part-time job, and get some extra money, that's what I did. But I called my center and told them what was going on. And they reached out to me. One night, I was in the bed and I dreamed about a GoFundMe. I'm like, a GoFundMe, not me. That's exactly what I said. And then I called Jean Bell, one of our ministers, and asked her about it. She said, sure. She said, tell your story. And I also know it was pride operating to a certain degree, more so. It took me about a week, and I was very transparent. Because think about it, I worked on a job 34 years. I never had to borrow money. I always had money. I lived a good life. And I shared my story about foreclosure, everything, needing a place to stay. And the amazing thing was, I'm being considerate of other people. I only asked for what, $2,500? I can laugh now because most people, when they do GoFundMe, they ask for a lot of money, but I was being considerate. But let me tell you, Spirit showed up even at that. The place I live now, everywhere I went, waiting period, I'm leaving deposits, and it takes 3-4 weeks to get your money back. And I went to this one place, and I told the manager what was going on. And he said, we don't have anything. He said, but it's something about you. He said, your story. He said, we have a studio. He said, we aren't supposed to let anybody move in. He said, but let me check with our organization and I'll call you back in a week. Sure enough, he said, I can move in. But HUD won't let anybody in there unless we paint and put new carpet. I said, okay. I moved in June 1st, the heart of Buckhead. Every single place I went, senior living place, apartments, and because of the foreclosure, they wanted $3,000 to $5,000 down deposit. They wanted 3 to 4 months rent up front. Most of the senior places, 1-2 year waiting period. This was nothing but God. Thank God. Thank God. Spirit. And it's because I live by these principles in the Science of Mind text. I live by. I don't care what I have to do on a daily basis or how early. My day starts anywhere from 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning because I get up, I put my coffee on, I do my daily reading in my Science of Mind, I pray. And Essie can tell you whenever we get a request, and I guess she said, what is this girl doing up this time of morning? I pray, I treat. I pray for my family. When we had the meditation Christmas Eve morning, I'm sitting there and I heard in my spirit, pure, unsaturated agape love, whatever. And Spirit knows me. When I hear it 3 times, I heed to it. And I'm like, unsaturated. I couldn't figure out why unsaturated, why not unadulterated. And then I had to learn, you don't argue with what you hear. And I got quiet, unsaturated means dissolve. All that stuff that I was carrying against my siblings for not being there, dissolve, it's gone. I love them, I pray for them. When I see them, I haven't seen them yet. I'm not going to bring up anything about why didn't you, none of that. As a child, not as a child, when I got older, I used to always say when I started reading about Jesus discovering his divinity and God, I used to always say, I want to be just like Jesus. Be careful what you ask for because you got to go through some stuff. You got to go through some stuff. I went through this physical challenge because that's what I used to always say. I want to be just like Jesus. I really believe this thing about walking on the water, that was my experience being sick. I left that hospital on the 23rd of February on 5 prescriptions, 5 or 6, for 2 months. When they ran out, I called Grady. They said, Ms. Johnson, there's no refill. And I left with the 2 bags, drained bags from the abscesses because they taught me how to clean them and, do all this. To this day, no prescription. I'm running. I am running. I don't take nothing but my multivites. And before all that, my potassium was dropping so low, I found out that's what the problem was with my heart, my potassium. I didn't know potassium. If your potassium is that low, your heart can go out. They even told me at one hospital I was in congestive heart failure. But anyway, no medication, none of that. I'm still learning how to eat because of the way they had to do my small intestines, take them out, clean them, put them back in. I was like a baby. I had to learn how to eat. Let me know when it's time for me to stop. But I'm still trying to figure out what foods I can eat and can't eat, which is okay. Because I trust the divine. I know with every fiber in my body, I have the faith of God. And my word is to encourage you to know this for yourself, for the center, for everything, the faith of God. And I remember the scripture, thy faith has made me whole. The faith of God has made me whole. I know this. I'm still learning. I'm not complete, but this journey has taken me to a level in life where I can tell people, no, I'm not going to forgive you because I don't hold anything against you. Because we're all on our own journey, whatever. I love people, and a few days ago, somebody said something to me, and I just kind of laughed, and they called me back and apologized. No need to apologize. And then I thought, well, you need to tell them okay, because they need to hear that for themselves too. But I don't hold anything against anybody. I don't want anybody to experience what I experienced. This journey has taught me so much more than I knew. And in closing, a few years ago, I went to a retreat with John Stringer. You all know John Stringer at the Gainesville Retreat Center in Gainesville. And then we went over to the Temple of the Universe, Michael Singer. Well, that night, it was Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. And that night, when we came back to the retreat center, John was singing. It was like 9 o'clock. I couldn't keep my eyes open. So I told my roommates, I'm going to go in and lay down. I'll set my alarm clock. And I'll be back in here about 11:45 and bring in the new year. When I woke up, it was 5:30. But the amazing thing, and they were making all kind of noise because it was New Year's Eve, right? The amazing thing was, I thought I dreamed the 23rd Psalm. And when I woke up, I looked in my book. I literally wrote it unconscious. So I thought, and I want to share this, and I call it Diana's Psalm 23rd. And when I wrote it and read it, I cried. Didn't know then what this was about. And it says, the law is my shepherd. I have no fear, need, or want. It allows me to lie down in pastures of peace, abundance, and supply. I'm in the still waters, aligning, allowing, and letting go. That's what I did when I was in the hospital. My soul is restored into the righteousness of spirit for God's promises as I've walked away from the shadow of fear. I fear absolutely nothing because God is always with me. This is what I went through in the hospital. My table is already prepared, is always prepared for me in the appearance of anything unlike supply, substance, and abundance of God. The oil, spirit is a continuous flow, never ceasing, so that I'm reminded of all the good, substance, and abundance that's within me, around me, available to me as long as I'm open and receptive. I choose to live in the presence of God forever. I read this every day, not knowing that this was going to be a part of my journey also. Yeah, I read it every single day along with reading my Science of Mind textbook because that's who I am. That's who I am. And again, I want to thank you all for having me, allowing me to share this journey. Thank you.
What a wonderful story. It sounds like millions of miracles. And that, I heard about your story and I picked the song for you. Okay? It's called A Million Little Miracles. I've been carried by grace. Don't ask me how, 'cause I can't explain. It's nothing short of a miracle around here. I've got some blessings that I don't deserve. I've got some scars, but that's how I learn. It's nothing short of a miracle around here. I think it over and it doesn't add up. I know it comes from above. I've got miracles on miracles, a million little miracles, miracles on miracles. Count your miracles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all. God held me steady so I wouldn't give up. Open doors that nobody could shut. It's never about what you've done for me. I wanna live with an open heart. I wanna live like I know who you are. I never will get over what you've done. It's not coincidence and it's not luck. I know it comes from above. I've got miracles on miracles, a million little miracles, miracles on miracles. Count your miracles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all. I'm sure Diana can't count all the miracles that happened for her in the hospital, right? I've got miracles on miracles, a million little miracles, miracles on miracles. Count your miracles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all.
Thank you. Good gracious. How do we follow all of that? This is where we do our conscious giving. And I think we've been given to today, don't you? We are going to, instead of having us pass the giving plate as we usually do, we're going to be, as you leave, you give your donation and put it in our giving plate at the front on the table. But we're still going to read together for our conscious giving. Our conscious giving affirmation: freely and joyfully, I give with a feeling of abundance, knowing that my gift blesses others as well as myself. And together we say, I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. And I have some announcements this morning. What a surprise. As you all know, maybe you don't all know, but we've been talking about this for a while. On the 29th of the month, we have our leader is coming to speak to us. Reverend Edward Fulyoun will be here. He will be here all day Saturday as well, 11 to 4 on Saturday. And thank you, Marcia. When have we always say thank you, Marcia? All the time.
Marcia.
This is our flyer. Have you all seen the newsletter?
Yes.
Check.
Yes.
Check. for your newsletter. But this is telling you all about what's going to be going on this next month. So this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. So please tell everyone. I've sent invitations to Reverend David. I talked to Shannon yesterday. He has a personal invitation to Reverend Bob Dean and to Reverend Tony, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. But they
I always
all,
say cappuccino.
Cappuccino. I thought about that when I saw it. But everyone has invitations. So all of our sister churches here in the community have been invited to spend the day with us on Saturday. And we have lots of things that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very inspiring to have him here with us. And then on Sunday, he will be speaking at our service. And so everyone will be invited, and we will be setting up a lot more chairs. So we'll keep you all abreast of all of that, as will Dr. David at your church. We have hold on just a minute. I have a few pieces of paper. We have a board meeting this afternoon, so we will all be busy this afternoon. And who brought the food? Dorothea.
Thank you,
Dorothea. So and Cheryl, thank you.
And
thank you.
Oh, goodies.
So we have munchies back here for everyone. So before you head back,
Thank you.
Please help yourselves. And we have, for our speakers coming up this month, we have Miss Dorothea. Ta-da! Yay.
Next week?
Next week,
Next week,
Miss Dorothea will be
yay.
speaking. Reverend Angela Harmon will be speaking the week after that. And then the last week in the month, of course, is our big event. So we're going to keep it coming to you. So everybody, please read your newsletters. Marcia works hard on that, right, Marcia? Yes, she does.
It's beautiful.
So please pay attention. She did a beautiful job. Thank you again, Marcia. Great flyer, great flyer. Anything anybody wants to make an announcement about? Ronnie, anything you need to add? Deborah, Dorothea, Marcia, Cynthia?
We're going to have John Stringer in February.
February.
Yes.
Do
I'm
we
waiting
have a
on the
date?
exact date. They had
Okay.
a death in the family, so I didn't
Okay.
get his wife's father passed away, so they've been
Okay.
down in Gainesville, Florida. But
Okay.
I'll get a date this week from them.
Okay. We also have another practitioner coming to speak for us. Dale is coming. And so keep that in mind, put that on your calendar, because Dale will be here. He's coming February the 12th to speak with us. So we're excited about that. I was watching this morning and I saw him get up and speak at one of your services. So we're looking forward to meeting him as well. All righty, you all take it away.
All right. We like to end with the peace song, and people usually stand up and form a circle. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With Spirit as our Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us, only good comes to us, and so it is.